We'll wait for some folks to get on, and I'll make sure that you guys can hear me. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Tiffany. Thanks. We'll wait just a minute and make sure that folks can get on before we begin. I know my mom is wanting to get on from home, so we'll make sure she's on too. All right. Well, I haven't had a chance to hear back from my mother. Hopefully, Mom, you and Sloan are watching from home. I'm here at the office at City Hall, which is a very quiet place. Downtown is very quiet. My whole drive in was very quiet, which is a good thing. It means that that the city of Scranton is listening. It means that you're all listening to all these warnings and staying home. Staying home right now is how we're saving lives. Staying home is how we're not exposing each other to this virus and endangering not only the lives of ourselves and our family members, but those of our frontline workers, our healthcare workers, our police officers, our firefighters in the city, our public works guys that are working hard to keep the city clean for you so things remain as normal as they possibly can. So we posted this last week. I thought this was really important that these empty streets are scary. We're taught over the course of our lives that empty streets are something that is dangerous. It doesn't feel right. I think there's something kind of innate in us that when you don't see other humans, you feel uncomfortable. But right now, that's a sign of love. That is a sign of people listening and trying to help each other through this really scary time. We are going to get through this. We've talked about this in these past weeks, and I know you're all with your families and friends, and we're all doing Zoom and Google Hangout and calling our grandmothers and our grandfathers and trying to stay in touch with all of our loved ones and encourage everybody to continue to do that. It is a scary time, but we really are getting through it. We're seeing there's so many wonderful things happening in the city. We have food banks and food drives going on throughout the week. People are getting the food that they need. People are getting the help that they need from each other, and it's really encouraging to see that. And I appreciate everybody who is helping their neighbors and helping their friends. Today, I wanted to give some updates on a variety of things and answer some questions that you all have sent in through email or phone calls or social media. But let me update you on some of the pieces that I think that might be important for you to hear right now. So for testing for COVID, if you are experiencing symptoms like that dry cough, a fever, you do still need to call your primary care physician first or call 1-888-PA-HEALTH first. You need to walk through by phone what those symptoms are, and then you'll get directions to go to either Geisinger or Commonwealth Health and get tested. But you do need to call first. There is no center to just go get tested. The hospitals cannot just have people with symptoms all just driving in and lining up at once. So it's really just got to follow that protocol of make the call first. They'll give you the directions from there. So that's an important piece. So far in Lackawanna County, we've certainly seen cases. Unfortunately, we've had a couple of people pass away from this virus, and we are deeply sorry for those families. And I hope that those are the only ones. But it is working. The stay-at-home order, this sheltering in place, whatever you want to call it, it is working. The distancing is working. I know there's a lot of noise out there in the world right now. Some people are saying, oh, well, maybe it's not so bad, and so we should just all go back to work. Well, it's not bad because this is working. So we all need to hang on and be patient and figure out the other things that we can be doing. And just there's no time limit on this. Of course, we all want to get back to work as soon as possible. As we talked about, my husband is a small business owner. I am living this from the city of Scranton side. I'm managing the city as best I can for all of you. And then also in my household, there's a small business owner that's trying to make sure that he can continue to operate and make ends meet for us. So I am deeply feeling the get back to work as well, but we just have to hold on. We have to be patient, and we have to not try to peg any one particular end date. There isn't one date where magically we don't have to social distance anymore. Hopefully we'll get the best of this virus and we'll be back to normal as soon as possible, but we can't lean on any one date or any one particular time frame because we just don't know. But you all are doing a great job of heeding those warnings, and I appreciate that from those who are. I will say though, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy who ruins it all for everybody and decides to go out and wreak havoc somehow. Don't be that guy. This is a serious thing. There have been a couple of incidents, one in Luzerne County the other day, where just everybody's working so hard. We really are, as a community here in Scranton, I think as a state, as a country, as a world, really, we're all trying to come together. So don't be that person that tries to ruin it, okay? So let's see. In terms of public safety, I just want to reiterate again that our fire protection is at full strength. We have not had any COVID infections in our fire department. We're practicing social distancing at our stations, which is helping prevent or at least slow down any outbreaks. We're still accepting the homemade masks at the firehouses. That's the Masked Bandits effort that we are trying to help out with. So if you are making masks at home, you can drop them at any of our City of Scranton firehouses, and those will get delivered to the healthcare centers. And that's another example of all the things that people are doing, which has been so great. With COVID-19 being a respiratory virus, we're asking that residents refrain from open burning. You might want to sit around your fire pit right now in your backyard, but we ask you to refrain from that because it is a respiratory virus, and that could exacerbate symptoms for people or susceptibility to the virus for people. Let's see. The Scranton Police and Fire Department, school district officials, and the Lackawanna County EMA are now joining forces with the Department of Health's Northeast District Office to be part of a 10-county healthcare coalition. They are planning and preparing for the next phases of the epidemic. They will be helping with testing if we need more of that. I certainly know we've been working on the personal protective equipment at every level, trying to get those resources. And should there become a need, there are plans for alternative care sites beyond the hospitals themselves. So the plans are in place, plans are being made. We're not there yet. Hopefully we don't get there. But this is, again, to say this stay home thing is working, but this is not over yet. Unfortunately, it's not just something that we can just declare victory on prematurely. We really have to heed these things and make sure that these things I just mentioned aren't necessary. And of course, Scranton, as always, we have an incredible police force. The city can be assured that our police department has and is ready to respond to any and all emergencies. Our police call volumes have continued to decline, which is a sign that you're all doing what you're supposed to be doing and staying home, and we appreciate that. So please do keep slowing the spread in that way. And now, more than ever, we would reiterate, be a part of the solution. So for Public Works, there is a recycling update. So the recycling center here is, because of the virus, no longer taking bottles, cans, and jars. It's a hazard for them, so they are stopping that. The City of Scranton will continue to pick up your commingles. However, if you do have a place to store clean bottles, cans, and jars and wait for the recycling to come back online, we'd appreciate you doing that. Understandably, that there are some people, myself included, I don't have any extra space really. So we'll probably have to be putting those out. And I know they're going to go to the landfill, which breaks my heart, because as a girl who grew up in Oregon, I was been recycling since I was 10 years old. That is really hard, but there are some things that we just have to be flexible on this time. But please, if you are able to store your clean bottles, cans, and jars until recycling those items resumes, that would be tremendous. However, the Public Works schedule remains the same. The trucks are coming. They will pick up what you put out on those schedules that we released. That schedule is on our website. You can always call DPW or email scranton311@scrantonpa.gov if you have questions for that. Yeah, there's so many things that we have to be flexible on right now, and that one is a tough one for me personally. For code enforcement, all residential and commercial construction has been ordered to stop. That of course does not include emergency things. If there's an emergency plumbing need, an emergency gas need, an emergency electric or water need, of course that can go on. So if you have questions, or if you see something that you don't think is right, if you see somebody that's maybe doing cosmetic work, for example, that's something that's not supposed to be happening right now, please don't call 911 though. If it's not an emergency, please do not jam any 911 lines. Please call our licensing and inspections office. We're at 570-348-4193. Again, 570-348-4193. If you have any questions about licensing inspections or If you see some work going on that you don't think should be happening, we can go by and check that out. You can also email us at scranton311@scrantonpa.gov. So with that, we all talk about we have to pay for all of these services, and that's why I know I've had to take some really tough and aggressive steps here, excuse me, at the beginning of this crisis to make sure that we have the funding necessary to keep the fire, the police, the public works in full operation. That I believe is one huge piece of my job right now, is to be responsible fiscally. And with that though, and as part of something we thought would happen and will, is we are extending the earned income tax and business privilege tax deadline to July 15th. We're following the actions of the U.S. Treasury Department and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which is a good thing for all of us. I know most of us, all of our families are looking at budgets and getting very concerned. So extending that deadline to July 15th is important in so many ways. But on the other side of that, what that means for the city of Scranton, of course, is that we're looking at our revenue, and there's things that we expected to come in at a certain time that is not going to be, that those will be delayed. So we are we're really tracking the budget, but we wanted you to know that for sure, city of Scranton, you are on the same deadline as your state and federal taxes, and those earned income taxes, those business privilege taxes, not come due until July 15th. So we'll continue to be in touch with you about those tax deadlines, and there will be no penalties between April and July. We're not going to tell you you can pay on July 15th and then penalize you. There's no penalty in that time period. So hopefully that helps some of you families out there rest a little easier in that way. And the garbage bills, those have not gone out yet. Of course, if people can pay them when they receive them, that's terrific for us. We need that revenue. If you need longer, you do have until the end of the year to pay that refuse bill. So please remember that too as you're looking at your budgets. I know a lot of us are doing that, and that's important. So with that, social services and business assistance. So a lot of us, so many people in our city, in our area, in our country, really it is paycheck to paycheck. It is really important that everybody out there who is struggling, that there is help out there. The easiest thing to do if your family needs to put some extra food on the table, if you are worried in any way about something that you might need, 211, you can dial 211 and get some advice on social services that are available to you. Now's not the time to feel any shame about something that you might need for you or your family. Now's the time where resources this is why we have these resources. The people that work in social services, they're there for you. And we are so thankful for them in our community. So dial 211 if you have questions, and utilize those services. That's what they're there for. That's what we're here for. If you have questions, you want to email us, scranton311@scrantonpa.gov. We're happy to direct you as best we possibly can. Like I said, we already in Scranton have such a strong, tight-knit fabric of services for each other. So that has really been enacted in our community already. But dial 211 and that'll help guide you to where you might be able to get some help. In terms of businesses, this is, we're still, the Senate kicked the bill over to the House. The House is still discussing what is going on right now. So all of the business assistance, all of the unemployment compensation that they're discussing, all the checks that might be coming out, everything is in the House right now. So we still don't have any confirmation on what that'll look like. When we do have that, we'll be trying to get all of that out to you as much as possible. In the meantime, we do know that there are federal SBA loans, there are economic injury disaster loans. For the state, there are state COVID-19 working capital loans, and there's the Pennsylvania Industrial Development and low interest loans. So you can go to dced.pa.gov to find out more about those programs. But I think most important and most helpful is, I'll break it down in terms of how big your company is. If you're over 100 employees, Penns Northeast can provide assistance to you. Their website is pennsnortheast.com, or you can call 570-883-0504. For businesses, companies under 100 employees, the NEPA Alliance is providing assistance to small businesses. they can help you apply for those state and federal loans. The website for the Alliance is nep-alliance.org, or call 570-655-5581. So again, if you're under 100 employees and you're looking for help with state or federal loans, there are some really good ones out there, and I'm really hoping that our businesses take full advantage. I know businesses, again, I live this in my own household. It's hard to find time to breathe, let alone budget, let alone apply for a loan. But there is disaster relief out there for you. So do take that time, ask somebody to help you and get that paperwork in. So it's nepa-alliance.org, or call 570-655-5581. The University of Scranton Small Business Development Center is offering similar help. They're at scrantonsbdc.com, or 570-941-7588. Emails sbdc@scranton.edu. Chamber of Commerce is also providing assistance. You can check out the website scrantonchamber.com. So again, there are resources. For example, the City of Scranton, any current loans with our city's Office of Economic and Community Development, we are deferring those payments for April without penalty or interest. So City of Scranton is doing its part with its borrowers to try to help businesses stay afloat, because like I've said before, the worst thing to do is to try to think that you can do it and go guns a-blazing and full force in this short term, and then get to a point where you're out of cash and you have to close and you can't reopen and be there for the community. You can't be there to give those jobs back to those you might have had to let go. So be planning and be using those resources, please. And with all of this, I've been thinking a lot about mental health and thinking about how difficult it is just for me to be, this week I've been working from home, and I love my mother, and my child Sloan is amazing and I love it, but it's so stressful. There's so much, and I have to shut the door on them, which is arguably harder than being away from them. So it's hard for all of us to be at home. It's hard for all of us to be cooped up. So we really need to be thinking about our mental health in uncertain times like this. So a couple things, I connected with some of my friends that are in the mental health space, and they had some good advice. So one is pare down your resources and sources of information. So go to respected and official sites like the CDC or the Pennsylvania Department of Health. Turn off the round-the-clock news cycle. Like, you don't need to have MSNBC, CNN, Fox News on all 24 hours a day. It's going to make the stress worse. So hop in and out, but really take a break. Really, really try to take a step back. Make those phone calls to your friends. Don't amp each other up. Make a calls to those friends and family to just speak about what you guys are going to do after all this is over. What's that trip you had to maybe cancel? What's that going to look like when you plan it again for a few months from now? So really, really pare down those sources of information and try to decompress from that. Our lives have so much more happening than the current news and concerns. So know the facts, especially the ones most important to your unique situation. Do the things you can do to keep yourself and your sphere of influence safe and well, and then go along with the rest of your life focusing with gratitude and hope. And the gratitude and hope is something that I'm trying to practice myself every evening when I sit with my family, and that can be really, really helpful. Even just a few minutes to really sit back and be grateful for what you have. So also pay attention to your basic needs. Don't get wrapped up in thinking about the coronavirus. Don't forget your own health and well-being. In times of stress, we have to get adequate sleep. We have to keep up proper nutrition, get outside as much as possible, and engage in regular physical activity. So right now that's limited. I realize we can't be all going to the park all at once, but you can go for a walk. Just be respectful of that social distance. Go for a walk in your neighborhood, but don't be going up and chatting with your neighbors really close. I know that Pennsylvania American Water was on the news last night asking people to be respectful at Lake Scranton. Keep that social distance. Don't be try to not go with a big group yourself, so you're not taking up all the sidewalk. They've had some littering problems, which is really annoying. So people, please, this isn't a time to be a jerk. Take your garbage home with you. The City of Scranton will pick it up when you put it out on your scheduled days. If you are really concerned about your mental health or that of others, you can text talk to 741-741. It's free, anonymous, 24/7 crisis support. So you can text talk to 741-741. There's also the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline. That's 1-800-273-8255. If you are feeling, or somebody in your life is really feeling low, this is a really tough time. Anxiety is high, and anyone who maybe has underlying mental health problems, that can be especially a real issue. So text talk to 741-741, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, 1-800-273-8255. So public access, like I said, in terms of physical health, still available, but just use your social distancing skills that you're all learning. So I wanted to end with a call to action before we go to questions, really, and just highlight some of the things that are happening. So our community networks online, the COVID-19 neighborhood assistance pages, are crowdsourcing information on Facebook. That's helping neighbors plan. That's been successful. Like I said, the Mask Bandits effort that the city is helping out with, having people make masks from home, drop those at the city firehouses. Those are going to get where they need to get. We really appreciate that. There's a partnership that we're excited to talk about between Friends of the Poor, University of Scranton, and Scranton Tomorrow. It's called the Scranton Connection. It's collecting donations to provide meals from local restaurants to low-income residents. In the first 6 days, the project has raised more than $16,000, equaling more than 1,000 fresh takeout and delivery meals for participating restaurants. So we really appreciate the efforts of Friends of the Poor, University of Scranton, and Scranton Tomorrow. It's been a success, and we hope that it keeps going. The UNC, the United Neighborhood Centers, has just been distributing frozen meals, and they've gotten meals to more than 150 local seniors. Again, this coming Monday, they will be distributing meals. You can make advanced reservations by today. So if you need a meal from UNC, please call today in West Scranton, 570-961-1592, extension 101. In South Scranton, 570-346-2487. Again, West Scranton for a meal. This meal will get to you on Monday. It's meals. I think it's a week's worth of meals. Would come to you on Monday. Call today if you're in West Scranton, 570-961-1592, extension 101. South Scranton, 570-346-2487. Or if you're interested in helping distribute those meals, please call Jessica Wallow. She's at 570-346-0759, extension 109. We are also, what do we have here? Scranton Spreading Cheer. I like that name. Scranton Spreading Cheer is connecting students and older adults in residential centers by encouraging students to send artistic greetings. Awesome. Submit the greetings by emailing community@scranton.edu. That is very cool. community@scranton.edu. So I wanted to reiterate before we get to questions that, first of all, just the nature of this city, the nature of this community, people help each other. That's why I love this city. It's amazing how people help each other. It's amazing what families do for each other here. It's amazing the connections we have. What is an additional asset that we have is we have two major, fantastic hospital systems here in Scranton. So if you're nervous, if you're concerned, those hospitals, I'm in touch with them throughout the day. I won't say daily because it's more than once a day with both of those hospital systems, Geisinger and Commonwealth Health. They are excellent. They are on top of this. They are right here, right in the hill section. I can almost see them from my desk here through the window. They're here for you. We're doing everything that we can. They are doing everything they can. So take a deep breath, and we're going to get through this, okay? We will get through this. But while we get through it, we have a lot of questions. So let me go to those. So resident from Greenridge asked, what is the city doing to prevent non-essential businesses from opening or doing work, and how can I submit a complaint? So we have not had too many of these complaints so far. I've been pretty pleased about that. Those of us driving around and seeing, people really are following the rules for the most part. If you see something, you can call Our number, it's 570-341-4101, and we'll take a look at it, or you can email scranton311@scrantonpa.gov. We're looking at those emails 24 hours a day. The phone's not in the middle of the night. We're not, hopefully you're not calling in the middle of the night. We're trying to limit that, but you can call us and we'll pick up. If we haven't seen too much of that, but please, like we said, don't call 911. There's no need to jam those phone lines. Those are for emergencies. So you can give us a call at 570-348-4101. And Joe says, what does social distancing really mean? Why is it okay to get takeout? So this is something that I understand it's hard, because in one breath I'm saying, hey, stay home. Thank you so much for staying home, and support our local businesses. They need you now more than ever. So it's about keeping distance, and it's about avoiding prolonged contact. So that's why the restaurants, their seating areas are closed, is part of this, the transference. None of us really know anything, like we've talked about, it's all alive, but the China, Italy, those countries, and the WHO, the World Health Organization, are confident that it can be a protracted exposure to someone, really increases that risk. So we don't want people sitting next to each other at a lunch counter. But if you want to go in, grab that takeout, use your hand sanitizer. Our restaurants are doing a great job of being as clean as they possibly can with sanitizer and wipes and all of those things. So go get your takeout, grab it. Just, sanitize and wipe your hands after you've touched a door handle. Maybe use a Kleenex or a napkin when you're opening those door handles to the restaurant. Now that it's nice outside, I think a lot of the restaurants will just have those doors open, which will be nice. It's okay to go and grab those things. Just, not everyone in your family needs to go with you. You can go, just be sure that you're wiping down your car, you're wiping down your hands, you're wiping down the doorknobs to your house, and washing your hands before you're coming into contact with your family when you get back home. So just really be practicing those sanitary procedures, and don't linger. I know we all know each other here in Scranton, which is why it's a great place. You can chat, but really do keep that distance. Keep that distance between each other. It's awkward, it's weird, but it's a weird time. So these two things can coexist, but I understand the concern about that. And I would say, if you do see, if there's a retailer out there, if there's a restaurant maybe who you're concerned isn't following the right procedures, go ahead and email us or give a call. We can send code enforcement to go take a look and see if they need to up those standards. So George has a question about New York City. So New York has a lot of positive COVID-19 cases. What is the city doing to stop bus and van service from New York? So I'll first preface this with the fact that interstate commerce is regulated by the federal government. So there's nothing that even Governor Wolf, let alone me as mayor, can do to just shut her down. We can't just close the border. The March Trailways owners went out and proactively stopped their service starting today. They're ending their service between New York and Philadelphia. So we really appreciated the Henry family for doing that. I've been on the phone with Greyhound, and Greyhound only has one bus coming in from New York each day here to Scranton. I asked if they could discontinue service. They are not discontinuing service anywhere in the United States right now. I asked for them to please put Scranton on the list should they begin that policy. If they decide to actually close down some of their city services, I want us to be on that list. However, that one bus is coming in. They're taking all of the protocols they possibly can with sanitation. They're not allowing people on the bus in New York to get on if they have visible illness. So I know that's not absolutely perfect. It's not everything that you want to hear. But we're trying to do what we can. We're trying to get testing at the bus terminal. I'm not sure that we'll be able to do that. There's a lot of scarce resources right now. But I also would say that there's a lot of people that might be coming in cars, and we have no way to stop them from coming in. This really comes into personal responsibility. If you have been in New York recently, if you've come in from New York, self-isolate. That's something that even the federal government has asked for you to do. Self-isolate for 14 days. If in that case, please don't go and get takeout. Ask a friend to go get that takeout and drop it at the door of wherever you're staying. We need people who have traveled recently, especially in New York City, which unfortunately is having such a tough time right now. we need you to please heed those warnings and please self-isolate. So we're really counting on each other right now in a lot of ways, and that's one of it. We also are really, I know a lot of us have friends and family in New York City, really feeling the pressure and strain that they're all under, and really hoping that tide is over very soon. So Adela is asking, will there be testing centers in Scranton or Lackawanna County? So we are still at that point where there's no just walk-in testing. If you feel symptoms, if you're worried, call your primary care physician, call 888 PA Health, and walk through your symptoms, and then they'll let you know where to go. Geisinger and Commonwealth Health certainly can test you, but you can't just be taking you and your family who are not feeling well into those areas. You need to be making those calls first, and they will direct you. And I believe at this point where they're doing appointments so that you're going at a specific time, so that they can stagger people in the proper way to keep things, to keep order and keep people distanced if people are getting tested. Okay, let's see. Coney asks, what resources are available for businesses that have to close? Like I said, the NEPA Alliance, the Scranton Business Development Center at the University of Scranton, and the Scranton Chamber are all working around the clock to get information for small businesses to qualify for federal and state loans. Let's see. And I see a note, let's see. Okay, 1-888 PA Health. If you are experiencing symptoms and you want to talk them through and see about potentially getting a test, 1-888 PAHEALTH is the number to call. See, and we already have people, somebody already replied to that comment. See, we are a city that helps each other. Let's see. Okay. Very important one from a resident. I have been laid off due to COVID-19. Where can I apply for unemployment? It's www.uc.pa.gov. So uc.pa.gov. That is where you apply for unemployment. And like we said, the Congress down in Washington, D.C. still negotiating their bill, but hopefully in the coming hours or overnight, we'll see that the unemployment compensation has been boosted, and there might be even more available. So more available in addition to what you might be eligible for. So as that comes to pass, we will get that information out. But in the meantime, www.uc.pa.gov, apply for unemployment. I was talking to my dad last night, and he was just reminding me, he's like, listen, remind everybody they paid for it, right? Your taxpayers, your tax dollars have paid for all this. Now it's the time to take advantage. There's no shame in applying for unemployment. There's no shame for calling that 211 and asking for help. This is the time that we all come together and do this, and you've been paying for this, so it's yours. It's your service to access. So apply for unemployment. Get your family through this difficult time. Let's see. Okay. I own an essential business. So this is a resident, didn't give his or her name. I own an essential business. How can I ensure the safety of my employees? So I would say follow, like we talked about, looking to the resources that we know and trust. The CDC and the Pennsylvania Department of Health have very, very detailed protocols that you can follow in your business. And depending on what type of business, if it's an essential business, posting signs, asking for your patrons to do that social distancing. There shouldn't be anybody out there right now who's not following that or not willing to follow that. So I would, really post signs around and follow those CDC and Department of Health guidelines. I believe they also have printable signs that you can put up in your place of business. But like I said, now that it's warmer out, hopefully it'll continue. Propping your door open, minimizing the different places where lots of people are putting contact. So maybe simple things like that can reduce exposure points. And let's see. Jack asked, more people are expected to test positive. What is the city doing to mitigate the spread of the virus? So, like I said, we've really been working with all of our hospital systems. We've been in touch with our businesses, and hopefully, we're answering your questions live here to figure out how you can better improve the layout of your restaurant, for example, to go get takeout. We're trying to provide resources for people. For example, our police department's been helping with food drives, making sure that the traffic can flow nicely so that people can stay in their cars and we don't have as many people out in their cars. We've been in touch with the every social service provider I can think of. We've been in touch with the businesses, in touch with the hospital systems, like I said, on at least a couple times a day with both. We're in touch with the Department of Health. We're in touch with our senators. I was in contact with Senator Casey, Senator Toomey when the Senate bill was live. Congressman Cartwright, as always, very helpful and attentive. He and I have been in contact all week about what we need from a city perspective and how to get that into the legislation. So we're trying to do everything that we can there. We have billboards up. I think our local news outlets have done a great job of continuing to get information out to the public. And we're hoping that through our website, Facebook, any communications that we're making this town hall right now, that we're doing everything that we can. So like I said, the community, you guys really are doing a great job of staying home. It is weird. It's weird. Like when I walk out of City Hall right now and it's an empty courthouse square, it's weird. It feels strange, but like I said, that means that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So I appreciate everybody hanging in there. Let's see. Okay. And let's see, I'm going to see if there's any other questions that Megan has for me. Let's see. Oops. Okay. Are you guys, can you still hear me? Let's see. I keep touching the mouse from my other computer and I'm messing myself up. Okay, let's see. Okay, so I see a question from Alex. Alex asks, our immigrant community is terrified that there may be stepped up ICE or Border Patrol presence in Scranton. A federal judge in New York ordered the release of 10 detainees in New Jersey. Has your office been notified of any enforcement raids? We do not know of any enforcement raids, Alex. We can inquire. ICE at this point does not contact the municipalities when they go in. It's not something that I or Chief Graziano gets any information about. I will see what we can find out. Okay, and then a question from Debbie. Is it possible this crisis will bring the city closer to bankruptcy, or perhaps could it make us financially stronger after you explore federal aid options? That is a very thoughtful question, Debbie. Thank you. I am really concerned about what this crisis and this loss in our potential revenue is going to do to our short and medium term financial health. So right now we're trying to figure out what our projections might be. We won't really know until months from now what our drop in revenues might be. But as we know, a lot of businesses are losing revenue, so those folks aren't going to be sending in the revenue that we were expecting, and we've got people that are laid off. That impacts revenue there. So we are doing everything that we can to be responsible and make cuts in our budget as we can. So there's some of the things that I know I was really hoping to do in these first months, and we're going to need to press hold on some of those things. In terms of long-term financial health, we already coming into this. In the long term, we have obligations that are really onerous, and our pension obligations and those types of things. So we already are fighting hard to figure out what we can do there. I think in the long term, we're going to be okay. We just have a lot of work to do. We will be fighting. We are currently already. We have a FEMA funding team that is working to make sure that we're tracking everything that we're doing so that we can get all the FEMA, and for Pennsylvania, the PEMA money that will be due to the city. I'm already working with mayors across the state to make sure that once this federal money becomes available, that Scranton and cities are going to get their fair share. Unfortunately, the Congress has only decided to give direct financing to cities over 500,000 people, which we are not 500,000 people. I was on the phone with Casey and Toomey and Congressman Cartwright trying to say that. I know Senator Casey was fighting for us on that way. It didn't pass through the Senate, but we're fighting really, really hard, and we'll be fighting hard in Harrisburg to make sure Scranton gets what it can. So, Debbie, I wish I could say we're going to come out better than we were after this. I'm not sure that's true. I will say, though, not from maybe a financial standpoint, but from for the city specifically, but from an economic standpoint and a community standpoint, I do think we'll come through this stronger. I actually think that this type of crisis wakes everybody up to the fact that we have to be working together. And I think that there's some things that we're going to see from that. I know that my partners all over our region in northeastern Pennsylvania, being on the phone, I'm actually, after this, I'm on the phone with the mayors of Pittston and Wilkes-Barre and Hazleton. We were already in touch, but now we're really trying to put things together. I think after this, there's going to be more innovative ways to work together. And I think the will for people to come together and realize that we all extend past our borders is something that's a positive coming out of this. Let's see. All right, any other question? So we did get this up and running today. I'll be doing more updates like this. It's a format I was a little nervous before because I hadn't done this before, but we'll be doing more regular updates like this. I think we'll ask you guys, and you can comment if you think that noon is a good time. I'm trying to be respectful of the state. They often do these at 2 o'clock, so we don't want to be interfering with their time. If noon works, we'll try to do these maybe I don't know, maybe every day or every couple of days will probably be what we'll do. We'll see. I don't want to bore all of you too much, but we'll definitely be doing these more regularly. If there are other questions, let me just scroll through here. This is kind of fun, although I actually miss being with humans. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I know that Greyhound is I know that. Okay. Well, one thing important. So Geisinger's nurse triage line. Sorry, I didn't have that right in front of me. So 1-888-PA-HEALTH, or to call Geisinger's triage line 570-248-3657. 570-248-3657. And somebody asked about what is being done about Ken Bond. The city filed a lawsuit against that particular person in February, and we will be doing the same for other building owners who are not following the rules and are behind to the tune of tens of thousands of dollars in their penalties and fees. So a little off topic, but I'll answer that one. But with that, actually, that is on point. So we're working really hard to help out and make sure that people aren't getting evicted from their properties, from their homes. If you hear of somebody who is being evicted and you think that they're being illegal evicted, which if they're being evicted on the spot, that's not supposed to happen. You can email us or give us a call, and we can report that, or you can call the district attorney's office and they will try to help you out with that. Right now is a time where we can't be having people just being kicked out of their homes. So that's very important. It's just, and for me, it's in the same line with, when this crisis first started, I actually could see our posters up on the wall that we were going through all of the things that we were trying to think of that we could get ahead of. And that was calling the utility companies, make sure there's no water shutoffs, no gas shutoffs, no electricity shutoffs. That the evictions piece is part of that. Amber has a question about what to do for people experiencing homelessness. Just before this call, I was actually on the phone with the director of the Keystone Mission. He and I are working together to see what we can do there. What we don't yet have. He was hoping to open a shelter here in the city, and that was in the works, trying to get a place for those folks experiencing acute homelessness in there. We're working on getting some help for them. The Keystone Mission does have food Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So people experiencing homelessness can go and get food Monday, Wednesday, Friday. But in terms of shelter, we're trying to figure something out. Let's see. Okay. Damien has a question. How much worse would it have to get for the National Guard to be called in and roads shut down? I certainly don't have an answer for that. I would look to the city of New York and even the city of Seattle. Those have been hit really, really hard, and the National Guard has not been shutting down roads there. So, I don't necessarily think that that's on the immediate horizon. I really don't think that we're there yet. And like I said, though, I know that it's not what you want to hear, that I can't just shut down 84 and 380 and 81. But if the people that are coming in and have traveled, please, 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 please self-isolate. Don't be going and getting the takeout. Somebody else can drop that at your door. If you're coming to a home you own or to a family's home, I hope you guys have worked it out that you're not interacting with your family, that you guys are in separate wings of a house or something, because it really, really is important to self-isolate and do that self-quarantining for 14 days. I know friends of mine from New York that have gone to visit their families, not here in the city, but in other areas, and they've figured out a way for them to not be in contact, that the meals go to the door. And it's, like I said, it's very strange. We all know that this is strange, but it's unfortunately very necessary right now. Let's see. Okay, Roberto, why not use the vacant pool bathhouses as a temporary shelter? That's what they did in Allentown. That is something that we are looking at, but it's a little bit more complicated for us right now, but that is a good idea, and we'll take it into consideration. Let's see. I'm gonna check my phone here and see if okay. Let me see if I have any other questions that are coming through. Okay. Anything else that you guys want to add? Oh my gosh, Norma, thank you. The census. My gosh, see, this crisis has impacted me too. All I could think about was the census, and then I even forgot the census. So Census Day, April 1st. Please, please, please check your mail, get that PIN, answer that census. If you don't answer by April 1st, then people have to start bugging you. You don't want to get bugged. So answer it now. We are going to have a few census related things next week. I think we're going to do something on WNEP on Wednesday. I know I'll be filling out the census, which I'm very excited to do. So I was thinking maybe I would do that on Facebook Live with you guys and fill out that census, because I think it was Debbie's question about financing. Oh my God, if we don't get the money from the census, we really will have a problem. So we need to count every single person that lives in Scranton. It's going to be helpful not just for the census, but it really will matter for our FEMA money as well. So all these things are tied together. The more population that we can show, the better we'll have incoming money. So please fill out the census. Just to reiterate, we are going to get through this. It's really weird and awful, but there are some silver linings. We're getting to spend time with family that we hadn't before. We're getting to connect with some of our neighbors in a way virtually that we haven't before. There are lots of things that we can do to help each other through this crisis. We're seeing that in Scranton in spades. You guys are doing an awesome job. If you have concerns, Scranton 311 at scrantonpa.gov. You've got this Facebook page you can ask questions there. My team gets me questions all the time. We're a tight team in the same way that we're a tight-knit city. So, if you guys do have concerns, I see a lot of those, and we'll try to get you guys the answers. So if you are feeling symptoms, call those numbers. Call the 188 PA Health. I'm going to scroll through it for the Geisinger number here. Just be just be really, really adhering to those rules and know that it won't last forever. Shoot, I'm forgetting the Geisinger number. Megan, can you send me the Geisinger number, please? And I'll say it one more time. But yeah, we are going to get through it. It is really tough, but you guys are doing a great job. Stay home to save lives. It's really coming down to that. And it really is working. So 187, so it's 570-248-3657. So Geisinger Nurse Triage, 570-284-3657. I'm sorry, I might have gotten the Department of Health number wrong. It's 877 PA Health. I'm sorry about that. 877 PA Health, 570-284-3657 for the nurse triage line. So you guys, thank you everyone out there. Take that minute, like we talked about, take a minute to be grateful and hopeful. This is something that we will all get through if we all row in the same direction and we all help each other out. So thank you, City of Scranton. You guys are really doing a great job, and we'll talk to you in the next couple days.